Prem Subramapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Sitaram everybody, and welcome to Satsang this evening. Before I get going, could somebody just send a comment if you could hear me properly? If the mic is working properly, could somebody please indicate? Tonight, as you are viewing the satsang, please remember to share this so that others could view it as well. And make sure to leave your comments. Please tell me where you're viewing from, as tonight we're dealing with a very important topic of Hanuman Swan. Alright, so we confirmed. Good. So, please draw your hands as we're about to begin with opening mantras before we enter this wonderful discourse. Closing your eyes, think of Ganesh Baba. Dear Lord, today we are in some trouble in this world. Dear God, local news, international news is very bleak. And even if there are pockets of happiness and triumph, these things are overcast with loss, death, and sickness. Ganesh Baba, we need assistance now, we need help. Please come, hear our prayer, and bless us. Om Gajananam Bhutaganadisevitam Kapeta Jumbo Palachara Bhakshritam Umasutam Sho Kavinashakarakam Namami Viganeshwara Parapankajam Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Manojavang Marutatulya Vegam Jitindriyam Buddhivanad Vadishtam Vartat Vajam Variyukyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami Rama Rama Bhadrama Ramachandraya Verase Raghunataya Nataya Sitaya Patay Namaha Om Ramadutaya Vidmahi Vayuputraya Dhimahi Tanno Hanuman Prachodhayat. Pavanputra Hanuman ki Jai. Sitaram everybody, and welcome to our first night of these 3 nights of Hanuman Gyan Yagna. On behalf of the Sri Krishna Seva Ashram, Mummy Baba and myself, we wanted to read and to give satsang during this time of, in Trinidad and Tobago, we have our second lockdown. However, friends and family, near ones, dear ones, devotees throughout this world are seeing trouble. While some countries are tabling, reopening and scheduling to open back business for economic reasons, some people are paying the price for attempting to do that. Every day, major news carriers, all cable stations are showing the onslaught that is happening in India. Friends from Varanasi and Uttar Pradesh talk about the amount of cremation, the amount of ash being blown into the air. And we see it on the news and it seems so distant, it seems so foreign. But when we read Bhagavad Gita, it talks about chapter 12. He says, my child, my devotee, the one I care and I hold dear to me, is the person who has compassion. And tonight, the first thing I want to talk about is the need for compassion, the need to understand what is going on and how to not only focus on our needs, but look and see and feel and empathize with the needs of others and what is going on throughout this world. And in some ways, we have to learn from the pain and suffering of other people. Tonight, I want to touch in our discourse. Someone asked me for my thoughts on the vaccine. Somebody asked me about, and the person, as you all know, I tell people, send me your questions. The person sent me a question, what do you think about our loss of liberties and what is happening with the talk that police could come into your property and all these different things that people are being bombarded by. Firstly, we have no such rule that police could enter into your property, first of all. That has not been put in place yet. But tonight, in the course of our discourse, I would like to touch on the vaccine and medicine therein, using text as my guidance and my reference, and also to bring a message of hope and to bring some semblance of guidance to our devotees in this time of need. Because to be honest, who are not sick, who don't have a relative in the hospital, there are people in their homes who are afraid, who have phobia, who are worried, am I going to get sick? Will my child get sick? Will my mother get sick? Etc. There are those people who are not concerned with the virus because we can't even think about that. How am I going to pay the credit card? How am I going to pay the groceries? My child wants a book for school or a snack and I can't pay that. The rent cannot be paid. The idea of the disease doesn't come to these devotees' mind because that is not the present topic right now. The jobs are disappearing. In Trinidad, we had great measures from a health perspective. Close everybody down and keep everybody home and that does make sense. It does. From a health perspective. But the banks are still calling. When are you paying your bills? When can we expect the payment for the mortgage? Can you make your payment to the credit card? So there was one measure to take away the job, close all non-essential services, close all the stores, close everybody. But nobody thought that the banks should in some way have compassion. Nobody thought that these people who are calling for their monies as if it is as normal, it is as business as normal. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister says there's no money for social net, no help from the state. But the bank is still calling for the money. They are still telling you, you have penalties to pay for late payment. No compassion. So in the heart and mind, devotees, in the heart and mind of these people, can you imagine the level of worries that exist now? One lady, she's panicking for a different reason because of where she's living. She spoke to me this morning and she says, Babs, when people can't get a job and they can't feed their children, the robbery, the kidnapping in Trinidad, that is a major problem. The US updated their travel advisory about Trinidad because about it. Do not walk in this area. Do not go into the Queen's Park Savannah. Do not go here. Do not go there. All citizens are warned. Imagine in India they are warning American citizens, get out of that country for safety. Take a flight and leave. In this country, because of safety, don't go here, don't go there. If you must travel, if you must come to Trinidad and Tobago, don't go there. Wouldn't these things worry the Trinidad and Tobago citizens who are innocent, who are just victims? But there's no help for us, it seems. It is as if you're a sitting duck and you're just waiting for somebody to come and attack you, take, kill, do anything. If only the protective service would protect us with the ferocity they give tickets and citations and these things. If it was so criminal to murder somebody or rob somebody, Trinidad would be a better place. But it seems as if I can do what I want and get away with it sometimes. So the heart and mind of many people, based on the feedback that I am getting, is very heavy. And that prompted me to do these 3 nights, just to support in my own little way, just to be with you as best as I could with praise, just praise, to help in whatever way this could help, to reach you on a one-on-one level in your phone, in your laptop, your TV. The intention, the objective, simple, to bring a myopic, a small amount of hope. That although all of these things that I've just listed, and I'm sure there are more aspects, I'm sure they seem the situation seems very bleak. What to do, Pandit? One person told me they were getting chest pains, so they had to go to the hospital. They didn't go with COVID, but because San Fernando General, I'm referring to, because of the waiting room being outside, when rain is falling, sometimes you can't get a seat on it. And you're waiting so long. You have to suffer. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking the truth. Don't wish your enemy to go and have to wait to get into casualty in San Fernando General. With all the money that Trinidad had and have, that hospital is still where it is. And without compassion, those people suffer there. We suffer there. And nobody cares. They talk about 6 feet apart, but there's no 6 feet in that waiting area. But at least you have a tent or some shelter. At least you might get to use a washroom. What about the people who have to brave it to go in the bank? There's no shelter there. There's no washroom there. There was a parliamentary meeting at one point, and the bank was mandated to put washrooms for clients, for the people they charge, for the facility. For the facility of all the bank accounts. Where's the toilet? Imagine in Trinidad, in other parts of the world, if you are sitting there, eat food, if you're conducting business, you must have a toilet present. But older women that have bladder-related problems go to the bank and porting, they're in discomfort, they're in pain, they have to run out, they have to worry, am I going to mess myself? Because the banks don't have a iota of compassion to put a restroom for their customers till today. But they are paying members there, not favors. Where is the compassion for these people? People are going in the waiting area for the hospital and they're contracting the virus. It's amazing. Tonight, we listen to a discourse taken predominantly, I'm reading from Padma Puran, Patal Khan, Book 5, from chapter 39 going on to 46. And we hear a different discourse of Hanuman Baba. Let us begin by reading 2 verses. 2 verses from the Hanuman Bajrang Baan, the weapon of Hanumanji. Jai Jai Lakshman Pran ke Data, Atura hue dukha karahu nipata. Jai Jai Hanumanta Jaiti Bal Sagar Surasamo Hasma Samrata Bhatanagara. Glory, glory to you, O Hanuman, who restored Lakshman to life. You came promptly, speedily, and brought and destroyed sorrow. And you brought health and help. Victory, victory to you, O Giridhara, the one who lifts the mountain with all the vegetation. You brought it close to that city wall of Lanka, where the herb grew that you brought for the boons of Lakshman. Glory to you, O ocean of bliss. You who have that bravery, that courage, that competency. O great warrior, I bow to you. Om Hanu Hanu Hanumanta Hetile. Berehi Maro Vraj Ke Kile. Gar Vraj He Berehi Maro. Maharaj Prabhudas Ubaro. I bow to you. The one who never yields, the one who never stops, the one who's never afraid. O Pawana Put, with the chant Om Hanu Hanu Hanu, I call upon you. Destroy all my enemies. Destroy with your vraj, with the thunderbolt, with your adamantium weapon, which you use. Do not allow sickness. Do not allow my enemy to escape, O King of Kings. Deliver me. Deliver your devotee from the clasp of enemy, from the clasp of sickness and sorrow. Deliver me. Pavana Putra Hanuman ki Jai. Sometimes when we listen to prayer of Hanuman, we chant the prayer, but we don't know what it means. So in increment, I want to introduce this Bajrang Baan. And I want you to listen to the language. That when you're in trouble, it have praise. It have praise that you could call upon for help. That Bajrang Baan is a passage. Different to the Hanuman Chalisa. Chalisa just 40 verses in praise of him. But in that form of the Bajrang Baan, where he's Bajrangi. When the enemy is strong, Hanuman Baba with that vraj, did you hear that word? Vraj. With that thunderbolt, with that skin that cannot be penetrated by weapon. Hanuman Baba is called upon in this aggressive form to protect the devotee. And where does that come from? Tonight we are going to deal with a discourse that deals with when Sri Ram had long destroyed Ravan. Ravan no longer exists. Ram Raj, he sits on the Singhasan, the throne of the lion. He has the big crown on his head. Sita Mata is his empress, and they're sitting on the throne. And one day Agast Muni comes close to the palace. And they sit down and they start to talk. And in Anand Ramayana, Sarakan, chapter 13, they end up in a discourse that Sri Ram is asking him the history of different things, of Ravan. Why is Meghnad called that? Agast Muni comes to tell him something at the end of this chapter that will guide our discourse. And Sri Ram wants to know about it. So in this chapter here, you hear about why Vibhishan was different. Why was his character so knowledgeable, malleable, loving towards the Lord? Why did he get the Vardhan from Lord Shiva? That he would always have that devotion. Who was the wife of Kumkar? Who was the mother of Ravan? In this chapter you will hear of the 3 sisters. We hear of the 3 brothers, but there are 3 sisters of Kumkar. We know of one, the one whose nose is cut off, but there are 2 others, and their story. And he's listening. Then at one point he talks about, and I'll read it for you one day. It's a very interesting discourse. The story of Vali, or what we might say Bali, but Vali, the one who is the brother of Sugriv. How Sugriv and Bali came into existence. And then he says, could you tell me about Hanuman? And you hear about Hanumanji and Pawandev, his father, Anjani, the mother, the birth of Hanuman on that full moon day, merger Russia in tomorrow night discourse, or the other night we will talk about this, where Pawan has 2 wives. One is Anjani and the other one is Marja Russia. She brings forward something called Pisach, a type of spirit. Let me just use a word, boot, ghost. And this is why Hanumanji is so linked to overcoming that. But we will discuss that another night. Then he says, we know the story of how Hanumanji goes after the sun. Tonight, as we enter in the beginning of our discourse, listen to the blessings that Brahma gives to Hanuman. Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam, 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 Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Taratushta avabhavayedva yudashva chala purva punaha abhayuktya munjaye vita sarva trishulokaye shatam jaya bhole baba tav sharanam jaya bhole baba tav sharanam jaya bhole baba tav sharanam jaya samba sada shiva tav Sharanam Tarda Dhauvaranya Maruti Parat Ye Stiti Ye Atam Bhavayasi Tvayamaro Brajadeha Varye Manaha Tekam Kuntaya Ye Gatir Mastu Ye Kutrayatam Sambhava Ye Bhet Ye Yati Haro Ye Bhakti ये आतम जय भोले बाबा तब शरणम 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 जय सांब सदा शिव तब शरणम जय सांब सदा शिव तब शरणम जय सांब सदा शिव तब शरणम Umapati Mahadev ki Jai. Brahma speaks to Pawan Dev. Pawan had stopped all the air. The atmosphere is crumbling. Life is falling apart in this section. And he says, oh God of the wind, please listen, start to allow everything to flow. Allow everything to move. And as a result, in all these three loks, when life is coming, I'm going to bless your son. Don't worry. I give him because he was cut with the thunderbolt of Indra. Indra throws the thunderbolt. You know that discourse? And it hit the lip, the cleft, the teeth, the palate of Hanumanji is deformed. When we look at Hanuman, we don't think of a person who is not, like I'm using a word, the lip is not made perfect. It is not normal. It is cleft. There are people in this world that are born with that. In our dharma, we worship people as that is the clan of Hanuman. We don't ostracize people. You have compassion for people like that. Hanumanji is cut here, and that is what the name Hanuman means. The one who has the cleft palate or the cut palate. He says that Vraj, that thunderbolt, damage your child. Today I bless your child that his body will become as if it is covered or part of that Vraj. Let his hands, the hair that is upon his body, O Pawan, let it be as hard as Vraj, thunderbolt itself. Let him be eternal, Chiranjeevi. Let him be blessed that he will live long and forever. Let the son of Anjani move without obstacle. Anywhere he wishes to go, allow him to go. And always bless him. Fourth one now, always bless him to be devoted to Sri Vishnu Bhagwan. And the last one, bless your son. Bless your son. That he will always be the help of Lord Vishnu. Earlier in this chapter, there is an explanation why in Ramayana, Tulsidas Ramayana, Jwala Prasad Ramayana, you will hear where Ravan is belittling Hanuman when he goes to court, when he's taken the piece of sari to tie the tail of Hanumanji, and they're going to burn down Lanka. And he's belittling Ram, and he's saying Ram needs monkey to help him win the war. But in a different section, you will hear that Ram was the friend of Bali. Because Bali, the brother of Sugriva, was so powerful that he had trapped Ravan under the cradle of Angad. And Angad would mess himself, urinate on top of Ravan. And because of that act, Ravan always was afraid of Bali. So says Abhayukt Ramayana and Anand Ramayana. And for this reason, he holds Bali in great respect, great regard. But he has no respect for Sugriv, for Hanuman when he reaches to the court of, when he reaches to the palace of Ravan. Interesting. He says, allow Hanuman to always be the help to do all the work. And Agastya Muni goes on to tell him that you were foretold to come upon the earth to remove the scourge, to rid the earth of this personality called Ravan. Principle of power Putra Hanuman ki jai. Tonight, listening to the blessing of Hanuman, understanding his persona and where from the beginning, his ability to hold the force, the lash, the many attacks, the verge, Chiranjeevi to live eternal, Sajivani, the one who brings the medicine. Tonight, listen to the role of Hanuman Baba. And in it, we will talk about our vaccine, the medicine, the act of the going on the ventilator, the oxygen, resuscitating somebody. All these are questions that people are asking now. And I wanted to deal with it for everybody to benefit in the context, with the support of our text. Tonight, let's enter into chapter 39, Patal Khan of Padma Puran, book 5. And where do we enter? After Agastya Muni told Sri Ram, Sita Mata wanted to go on Tirat. She says, I haven't done prayer in so long. Now that I have been established here as queen, I want to go on to worship. Agastya Muni around that time tells Sri Ram, listen, Ravan was a Brahman. He comes from that family. And you destroyed that person. You are going to get shrap. Remember where I'm starting. So at the end you will understand. He says you will get shrap for killing a Brahman. You must do praschit karma. You must get that karma off your back. And in order to do so, Ashram made their yagna, a type of yagna where a horse is worshipped. And the divine power of God is asked to sit within this animal. And as Kshatri, let the horse go together with a small army. And wherever the horse goes, that is the territory of, in this case, Sri Ram. If there is a neighboring king and he blocks the horse, the army that is with the horse, Sri Ram's side, is going to fight the blocking side and overtake or lose. And that is the boundary. But if they accept that Sri Ram is greater, they will join together and continue to walk. There are different aspects of Ramayana that explain the expansion in the same Anand Ramayana. When they talk about, tonight we will hear about some, when we talk about the children of Sri Ram, the children of Lakshman, the children of Shatrughan, the children of Bharat, and where did they go? The expansion of Hindustan to take what we now call, remember it's only in this century, places like Iraq and Iran borders were formed by Westerners. But before that, those borders were not the way they are now on the map. Those names did not exist. And even today, if you go in terms of relics in Iraq, you will find lingam and Hindu temple, forms of Hanuman in temples, etc. Under Shatrughan, under Kush, the son of Ram as well, the advancement of Hindustan into what is now called Afghanistan. Hindustan was a broad place. And this event of this Ashwamedha Yagna started that expansion right. From Awadh to other places. As it is ongoing, Ram remained in the kingdom of Ayodhya. And Shatrughan is the one who is placed in charge of the horse. He takes an army. And as the horse is roaming, they follow the horse. And they go from place to place. In Padma Puran, in that section, many examples of where the horses stopped, where the horses are allowed to roam, where people are joining together with them. Kings come into the fold of Shatrughan, representing that Emperor Sri Ram. Under the flag of Raghunath, all of them are unifying. The army is growing. And then, in this chapter, the horse reaches to a place called Devpur, where a king by the name of Veeramani is ruling there. Let's hear what happens in this slok. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Rukmangadaye Chitayatam Chintaye Veeramani Putro Bhartyetam Shisha Shivayatam Sada Shivayetam Purayata. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatma Namo Namah. Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Sheshnag is the narrator in this section. And he's describing how beautiful this place called Devpur really is. In this place, people are happy. In this place, the gardens, the animals, everything flourishes. The ruler of this place is the name of Raja Veeramani and his son Rukmangada. He is the prince of the region. The Gram Devta or the guardian of this city is Sadashiva himself. And while Sadashiva remains an aspect, a force remains there, all the trees are full of flowers, the place is very rich, the animals are healthy, the humans are happy, everything seems to be very peaceful. And the young prince, one day with friends, notices this beautiful horse passing as it is walking, very brave, very free, but very well dressed in gold and other fineries, walking through this garden where they were resting at the time. Attached is a little note etched in gold that this is the property of Sri Ramchandra, and wherever it roams becomes the property of his kingdom. The friends want the young prince to hold and to restrain the horse. He's so beautiful, he's so nice, please. And when the young prince does it, he reads the note attached. The young prince says, "There is none like my father. My father is very valorous, very wealthy. How can this Sri Ram, King Ram, Raja Ram, who is so haughty, disregard my father and just let his horse roam through our area, our property? Doesn't he know that Shiva himself lives here? The Trishul Nath lives here. Who can come and destroy our place or my father? For this reason, capture that horse." He tells the soldiers, "Take that horse to the stables and allow that horse to remain here. And let that Raja Ram come here if he wants his horse." All the friends of Rukmangada are happy. "Great are you, O prince, great, great." And he goes and he tells his father what he have done. Veeramani is a very old person, wise. And he knows to himself that this act is theft. He goes, "In this city, he has a prayer room, a sanctorium, a place of holiness that is prescribed for goddess and Mahadev. But there's no Murti, because living Devi and Ishwar live here. Sitting this verse 37 of chapter 39 says Shiva one part, Parvati one part of one body, are the constant guest of Virmani. He constantly honors them. And he consults with Shiva that today my son has abducted the horse of that intelligent Ramchandra. He says, "Oh great king," Lord Shiva telling him, "your son has carried away the sacrificial horse, and it will bring great amount of battle, great amount of pain to your city. A great amount of energy must be done to maintain that horse and make sure that horse does not die. With modesty, return it, O king." Having heard these words from Mahadev, the king thought to himself, "But I am a Kshatriya and I must maintain valor. How will I just bend my head? Will my son cause me to bend my head? As a king, how will my people respect me if I do not stand firm in this act and protect my sovereign? As king, will he just walk over me? My son has seized the horse already. He has angered Sri Ram already. What is proper for me, O Shiva, is to stand fast as a Kshatriya and prepare to overcome fear. As I bow to you, I prepare for battle as I meet with my enemy. What will people say, O Shiva? That I am a coward? That I am insignificant? That out of fear I have bowed my head?" The wheel of these events is already in motion. And I have to play my part, O Shiva. What can I do? Hearing these words, Shiva laughed and he spoke to him. With a deep voice, Sheshnag says, thundering voice, "When all the gods are present, who will take this horse from you? I am your protector. If Ram himself comes, allow me to receive him, and I will bow to him. One cannot fight one's God, but know that I will protect you. Know that you are under my umbrella of protection. But I will wait to see the feet of my Lord." Mahadev Baba looks to Parvati Mata and smiles, as that seems to be the real purpose behind this Leela. The next morning, let's hear what happens. As Shatrughan is starting to look for the horse. जय भोले बाबा तव शरणम, 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 जय सांब सदा शिव तव शरणम, जय सांब सदा शिव तव शरणम। शत्रुघ्न पूर्वा ये गदी, ये प्रारध ये देवपुरा, नारद ये पेश्वर यातम, मद पर शिष्य सह धर्म। जय भोले बाबा तव शरणम, 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 जय सांब सदा शिव तव शरणम। Umapati Mahadev ki jai. Shatrughan gets up in the morning and he's looking for the horse. Sumati, Sumant, the minister from the court, where is the horse? Where is the horse? High and low they start to look, they can't find him. And at that very moment, Narad Muni appears. O Rajan, he is in Devpur. Raja Virmani's son had captured the horse. And today they are preparing to face you. Great battle is coming, O Rajan, Shatrughan, younger brother of Sri Ram. With great difficulty you are going to have to face this king. Shatrughan, knowing his duty, based on the responsibility handed to him by his brother, war drums in his camp start to beat. And those drums are so loud that the message, the sound of those drums are sent echoing into the ears of all that live in Devpur. Virmani, listening to the sound of the imminent war, of the attacking force, makes preparation, gathering up all his forces. Rukman, Gada and all others are dressed in their armor. With great haste, the army is drawn. Suman Gada, the younger brother of Rukman Gada, Vida Singha, the younger brother of the king, all of them, these different characters, great fighters, great warriors, great Kshatri, all of them are planning, preparing, all of their cavalry and infantry are prepared, planned, dressed, labeled with different flags. Shatrughan is speaking to Sumant. If Virmani feels he can hold that horse, having that small army that he has, he is going to be in for a surprise. I am going to destroy him. I am going to destroy all of them in that city. Sumant says, oh, that king has shown great devotion to Shiva, and his great army is not so small. He is here to fight you. I advise, O Shatrughan, allow Pushkal to face them. Pushkal is the son of Bharat, his second brother, the son of Kaikeyi. This is Kaikeyi's grandson, Pushkal. Pushkal is very aware of all the different missiles and arrows and the tenets of war. Send him in and allow him to destroy them very quickly. Shatrughan, allowing Pushkal to come forward, charges. Shatrughan allows Pushkal to take the front, and Pushkal does not wait. He charges at Rukman Gada, and the both of them attacking each other. Great amount of arrows, great amount of taunts, language, fixing arrows on their bows. Oh, best among heroes, today nobody will save you. You are a great devotee of Shiva, but today, Bhutnath, that same Shiva in a different form, they will get your body to feast. Son of Bharat is talking. Today you are going to lose. Pushkal is great. And as the battle is waging, Hanuman Baba is standing close. Hanuman, with that body that is covered with that blessing of Brahma to be impervious to all the weapons, sees Pushkal in the height of battle, and he comes close to him. My dear son, do you want me to intervene? And Pushkal says, no. Do you look at me as a little boy? Do you look at me as unfit to battle? Oh, emissary of Ram. Oh, emissary of my father Ram. Thinks of his uncle as his father. Give me a chance and allow me to have this battle. Just by the virtue of glancing you, I have the grace of Raghunath, and I will overcome this prince, Rukman Gada. O Lord of monkeys, do not have a mind to fight him. Go and fight some other king. Go and fight somebody else. But let me fight here. And saying so, Hanumanji continues to battle around Rukmangada and Pushkal. But he does not intervene. Having heard the words uttered by Pushkal, Hanuman continues to fight. O son, do not attack rashly Raja Veeramani. He is protected. He is very knowledgeable. You are young, and that king is wise and old. He knows about weapons and missiles. And in this battle, he is protected by Sadashiva and Chandika Devi. Be careful, son of Bharat. Therefore, I will fight that king alone, Veeramani. Having won over Shiva through great amount of devotion, when Lord Shiva asked, what boon do you want, Veeramani? This is long before the fight. He says, may you live in my city. And Sadashiva says, I will live there. He says, but oh, Pushkal, Sadashiva does not live in his heart. Sri Ram, who is worshipped by that same Sadashiva, reached the highest position, does not go any other place after being in my heart. Therefore, the entire immobile world remains where Sri Ram remains. Therefore, I will be able to overcome him. He is unguarded when it comes to me, because Sri Ram is living in my heart. And in his heart, he does not have that divinity. Therefore, I will conquer him. Go fight other kings. Go fight other ones. And leave him for me. In this way, when Hanuman Baba was about to rush at Veeramani, Pushkal says again, no, leave him for me. Leave Veeramani for me, stand close, but leave him for me. Hanumanji goes to fight Veera Singha, the younger brother of Veeramani, and Pushkal rushes at Veeramani. And the king, seeing young Pushkal coming close, speedily, he says, oh child, the king, the old king, long beard, grey beard, imagine it in your mind. He says, oh child, do not march against me. Who is very fierce in this battle? Go back in order to save your life. Do not fight with me. Kings like me do not favor children like you. And I do not favor striking children like you. It is unfair. I am eager to enter into this battle, but now I am not seeing somebody to fight. You who could still be in diapers, little boy, turn around. I do not desire to strike you. You are the same age of my own son. But I see my son, Rukmangada, unconscious. You have hit him hard. He is lying on the ground. But go back. Still I show you mercy. Go back. Go back, O son of Bharat. Go back. Do not come forward to me. You will not like the outcome. Pushkal says, I am a child, but you are very old. You may know weapons and missiles, but I, just as you, O Kshatri, I know the art of war. And I made your son unconscious. You are proud of his valor. I conquered him. Stand carefully now, old one. Hold to your bow and your arrow. I come with the ferocity of Ram. I come with the power and as the son of Bharat, I come furiously at you. Prepare. And Pushkal did not take heed of the warning of the old king. Instead, mounting 5 arrows at a time, shot at the king, destroying the flag, the charioteer. Then he mounted 9 arrows on his bow, and when he shot, like if it was poisonous snakes, hitting the horses, hitting the chariot, the wheel, dismantled the entire thing. Now the king standing only with his armor on, then the crown hit off, then the shoulder clips here broke, disarmed the entire man. Wet with blood. Viramani says, "O hero, you who are soft and supple as the feet of Ram, you are blessed today. Today you have done a feat that I, this aged warrior, am deprived of my chariot. O hero, protect your life, for when I am going to fight, when I am ready for you, it is not going to be easy, because I will come in the form of your death." Still with this pride, still with this strength, mounted more and more arrows, Pushkal let loose, remembering Ram, made a cage around Viramani, entrapped the king. He could not reach the one of the weapons. Fought the person. And even then, the king is not giving up. Until such time, Pushkal shoots an arrow that hits the chest of the old king, making him unconscious. Pushkal, happy, victorious, celebrates, raises his hands. Seshnag recounts Hanuman, fights Vida Singha, the younger brother now of the ruling king, Viramani. He says, "Oh brave one, stop. I am going to, in a moment, conquer you." Hearing these powerful words, he rushes at Hanumanji with all his weapons, with all his force. And Hanuman Baba opens himself up like this and allows that person to shoot all the weapons, and it just bounces off his body because of the blessings of Brahma. Subhan Gada, Rukman Gada, all of them now revived and recollecting themselves, march against Hanuman, and they tell Veera Singha, "Pull back and allow us to take a try at him." And the two of them come. And Hanuman Baba knocks them down. And in this way, when the two of them have lost senses, Shatrughna's army, it was as if they had gained victory. And they are chanting Jai Jaikar, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shatrughna, Jai Hanuman. For all the battles seemed, all the generals in the battle had seemed to have been knocked down without senses, lifeless on the ground. And at that moment, Sadashiva entered into the battlefield on a great chariot. Mahadeva, Lord Shiva. Chesnag says, the devotee of Sadashiva is going to be protected. Seeing all the blood, twisted and mangled body parts, Mahadev, the remover of afflictions of his devotee, seeing his side unconscious, went with force to face Shatrughna with his attendants, followers, causing this earth to tremble. Tripurari is ready to enter into the battle to protect his devotees. Shiva knows that the younger brother of Ram is there, seeing Shatrughan. Seeing Pushkal celebrated, he becomes very angry and he says, Pushkal, you who are the servant of Ram's feet, you have killed so many of my devotees today. What a great feat today. Let you come to me now. And I am going to destroy you for causing my devotee trouble. Listen. For causing my devotee trouble, and that will bring me happiness. And just as Pushkal is coming, Mahadev Baba sends his emissary, Veerabhadra. That raw form, that devious beast Veerabhadra comes wailing onto the battlefield. We've seen him in Shipra. And he makes mention of that Veerabhadra now. Veerabhadra, he says, is that one who destroys Daksh Prajapati when Sati Mata was disrespected in Yagna. Veerabhadra is the one who is created as the rage, the anger of Mahadev. Go and fight Pushkal. He says, Nandi, may you go and face Hanuman. Bringi, go and fight Kush Dwaj. Chanda, go and face Sumanda, the other generals in that army. And Maharudra stood as the battle wages. Veerabhadra holding that Katvanga in his hand, that weapon, mighty weapon, fist to fist, tie to tie, with the son of Bharat. For 4 days they fought, day and night, day and night, day and night. But on the 5th day, Veerabhadra seized the foot of Pushkal and he lifted him up into the air, and he came back down with that body as if it was a piece of string, slammed him onto the earth. And in that kind of unconscious moment, he takes that Katvanga, that big sword, and he takes it to the neck of this child. When I'm saying child, let's say young adult. He's not that young. Young adult, 20s. Veerabhadra with the earrings that are of the trident. Veerabhadra now roars as he cuts the head off of this child. The entire army goes quiet to see the head roll. The blood, the loss. This is the nephew of Sri Ram. If this form can destroy him, if this is how far this form could reach, what of the normal person in this battle? What of the normal soldier? What hope do I have? Sheshnag says, knowing Shatrughan, being very distressed, to seeing someone like his own son being lost like this, desecrated like this. In this pain, Shiva whispers in his ear by his maya, by his power, O powerful Shatrughan, do not be distressed on this battlefield. Do not give in to this pain. The fall of heroes is said to lead them to fame. When a Kshatri dies in the pursuit of his duty, he goes to Vaikuntha. The hero known as Pushkal, who fought for 5 days with Veerabhadra, who has caused great destruction. That Veerabhadra who destroys Daksh for insulting me. That Veerabhadra who fought Tripura for insulting me. He fought for 5 days. He lasted long. Don't be hurt. Therefore, king, give up your distress. Give up this fight. O warrior, I am standing before you. Choose your next move carefully. I am Shambhu. I am Bholinath. Careful, Shatra. With bloodshot eyes, with pain, with hurt, but without doubt, in the heart of Shatran, he still holds to his Ram. He holds to his faith. Even in this dire moment, he abandons his grief and he charges Shankar Bhagwan. He grabs hold of that bow and those arrows are ready. His quivers seem as if they will never be without arrows. All the devatas are in the heavens looking on. Who is going to lose? Shambhu is standing on one side and Sheshnag is on the other side. The emissary of Ram is on the other side. The person who has Ram in his heart is on the other side. Who is going to lose? Let's hear what happens in this next verse. Jai Bole Baba
Tab Sharanam
Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam Shatrohan Tato Ye Narar Parsane Mriga Ye Loka Swargalok Ye Patale Tam Tayaye Tam Vishwaye Ati Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam 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 Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam Brahma Natra Kuruya Veera Mahavira Ye Brahmanatam Kshatriye Nath Ye Reyati Ramnath Ye Tam Ye Atu Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Bole Baba
Tab Sharanam
Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam Jai Samba Sada Shiva
Tab Sharanam Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam
Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Shatrughn, using every missile, every astra that he had, he is releasing every weapon. And Mahadev Baba is allowing it to come into him. He's absorbing it. The devatas are asking themselves, one is the author of destruction. One is the younger brother of Ram. Where will this lead? Who on this earth will be victorious? Which hero will meet with destruction? The fight between these two continues non-stop for 11 days. Brahma and all the loks above and below are looking, waiting anxiously to see what will happen. And on the 12th day, the missile that is given by Brahma, knowing that Shatran was about to release this Brahma Shira, this weapon is mounted. But Mahadev does not wait for him to release that. The Brahma Shira is mounted, but Shiva quickly shoots an Agni Ashra back at Shatrughn. And this knocks Shatrughn unconscious in the battlefield. The entire army, on both sides, wails. One is wailing to celebrate, one is wailing out of fear. All are in shock that Mahadev had stopped the breath of Ram. Seeing Shatrughan pained by the arrow and fall unconscious, Pushkal is beheaded. The servants are loading his body on a chariot. Hanuman becomes very angry, lifts his tail and belabors those that are around him and charges Ishwar. For those of you who want to know what this Pandit reading, Padma Puran, Patal Khan, I am entering into chapter 44. Sheshnag says the hero Hanuman, roaring, is charging at Rudra. And he says, "Oh Rudra, what you are doing is against religious merit. I am going to punish you. You who are eager to kill the devotee of Ram. I have heard formerly that you hold up the trident, that you always remember the feet of Ram. But today, this has proven false. You are fighting with Shatrughan. You have destroyed Pushkal. You are in disposition. I will knock you, O destroyer of these three worlds. I will safeguard the devotee of Sri Ram. Sri Hari Vishnu's word will not fall. Not so long as I, Hanuman, is standing here." Sheshnag says, these words brought a smile to the face of Mahadev, knowing fully well that the Leela that he is waiting, that the Leela that he is playing is about to unfold. Mahadev says the duty of the Lord is that his devotee, his Jeev, his soul should be protected. Let that Raghunath look upon me who has caused grievance to his devotee. When the Lord of Chandika spoke like this to Hanuman, Hanuman couldn't bear it. The fact that he said, "Let Ram come," Hanuman couldn't bear it anymore. And he uproots a huge boulder with his ferocity and he throws it at the chariot of Ishwar. None of them, Virabhadra, Bhairo, none of them could come close to Hanuman. But Shiva, Rudra himself now, is the target of Hanumanji. And Hanuman with that boulder destroyed, broke the chariot of Mahadev. Nandi, the bull, seeing Mahadev standing on his 2 feet in his battle, runs to Ishwar and he says, "Oh Prabhu, sit on my back and get ready to charge that monkey." Hanuman, so angry, draws another big stone that hits Shiva. Mahadev Baba lifts the trident, and with the three shul meaning 3 points, flaming, Mahadev Baba lets it loose. Hanuman calls on the name of Ram and he breaks that trishul. Sheshnag says, just as the fire breaks the shell of the sesame seed, this Lord of the Vraj, this Lord of made of adamantium steel, his body is as such. Not even the Trishul could touch him. By the blessing, by the name of Prabhu, he was protected. In a moment, he broke that Trishul. Mahadev Baba takes up different different weapon, and he throws it with great force. As the third eye opens into the battle, Hanuman Baba took that blow to his chest and he dropped to his knees. Now he takes out a big tree. Hanumanji lifts a big tree and he hits Ishwar. The snakes that are on his body, they become unraveled with that lash. And they are ready hissing to destroy Hanuman. Hitting the chest of their Lord, he becomes very angry. Mahadev, thinking of Chandika Devi, with two hands he has to hold it with the sides, a huge pestle, and he releases that pestle against Hanuman. Hanuman, in his mind, even in imminent danger, even in that moment where his life is in danger, Hanuman holds to Sri Ram. And he says, I hold to your feet, Prabhu, even now. Sitting in Ayodhya, Sri Ram moved Hanuman. By his will, Sanjeevani Hanuman is moved out of the way. And Shiva saw it. Mahadev says, oh, Lord of the monkey, today you have made me worked up. You have made me enter into a battle in a way that is great, that is deserving of praise. You have disquieted my normal temperament. And I see the hand of Raghu. I see he is protecting you. Today, this great feat, I reward you with my Vardhan, with my blessing. I am not easily pleased, O Hanuman. Not by charity, not by brat, not by penance, tapasya, but by character, by the way you live your life, Hanuman. I am swayed by you. By your faith, I am swayed by you. Therefore, in this moment, ask me for a boon, ask me for a blessing. Hanuman smiles with fearless words, and with Sri Ram in his heart, he spoke to the enemy, Ishwar, like this. He says, oh, Mahadev, oh great God, Lord of Parvati, Lord of Kailash, by the grace of Raghunath, I have everything. There is nothing that I want. And I want you to listen to this part. This is why I'm reading this. But if I must ask you for something, protect the body of all the devotees of Sri Ram that have fallen here. Always protect their body, so that I can go to the Drona Parvat, this mountain called Drona, and I can bring the herb that will bring healing to them. Do not allow my brother, who is the step brother of Hanuman, the ghosts, the ghouls, the pisach that feed on people. Many people, Baba Chakupatra, Baba, we do puja. A pregnant girl, sometimes we see marks, all respect, in their private areas, losing the baby. Baba, I constantly have miscarriage. In our text, when we talk about Bhuta, Preta, Nikatina, Yahweh, the name of Hanuman repels these entities. There's a relationship between these entities and Hanumanji. Yes, we refer to Lord Shiva, Hanuman as the 11th incarnation of Lord Shiva. Less Lord Shiva is the god of all the ghosts, Bhutnath. But Hanuman, as I was saying at the beginning, Pawan Dev has two wives. One we know very well, Anjani. But there's another one, Marja. Marja's son are the spirits, Pisach, etc. And he's asking Mahadev to protect these bodies from the ghosts, from the vampires, those that feed off blood, those that fiend and feed off the sick, those that encourage infection, those that encourage the body to start to rot, those things that are causing sickness and then subsequent death. Preserve them, help them, heal them. O Mrityunjay, you are the one who is going to bring some security from Yamraj. Do your job and allow me to go and bring the herb, the healing. And for this reason he is called Sajivani, the one who brings the medicine. Mahadev Baba grants him that vardhan. He says, I will stay here. Go. Go. They stopped fighting. Based on the blessing. Based on what did Shiva see? He saw the movement of Raghunath. He saw where Sri Ram moved and saved his devotee. And that is what Shiva wants. Shiva, when he has to give up, many people don't. Do you remember the discourse where Sati Mata is going to test Sri Ram? Let me just go over that. Shiva and Sati is traveling and Shiva wants to see Ram. He always wants to see Ram. He always wants to see Ram. And they happen to pass in the forest just as Ram is looking for Sita after Ravan had kidnapped her. And Ram, recognizing Ishwar and Goddess, he prays Pranam. They say niceties to each other and Shiva leaves. And Sri Ram continues. And within the heart and mind of Sati Mata, there's a doubt. Sati says when they are by themselves, that human who is wailing for his wife, that is that Vishnu. Mahavishnu, Satyanarayan Swami is encapsulated in the grieving heart of that human. And Shiva says to her, knowing what is about to happen, if you doubt, go test him. But in his heart, he knows, Shiva knows that he made a vow that whoever doubts Ram, he will leave them, he will give them up. He will forsake such a person. And Sati Mata goes and takes the likeness, a form, transforms into Sita. Looking like Sita. Remember, Ram is looking for Sita. And Sita now out of, imagine you go around a corner and you see Sita. A human would have said, hey, Sita. But Sri Ram says, Sati Devi, why are you looking like this? Where did you leave my friend Mahadev? Sati Devi feels ashamed. And she goes back, but in that moment, Shiva gave up Sati Mata. And this is why, if somebody asks the question, how come did Mahadev, knowing everything, allow Sati Mata to end? And this was one of the reasons why. In this instant, you have the opposite. Hanuman is holding the Ram. In the moment of imminent danger and struggle and fight and loss, he holds on to him. And Hanumanji goes for help in the form of medicine. In the beginning, when we were reading from the Bajrang Ban, we read a verse where it says, you are the one who goes for the mountain, bringing the herb that revived Lakshman. Remember that. Tonight, just to pause here for a second, somebody asked me, Baba, what is your opinion on the vaccine? On the vaccine. I'm reading from verse 20 of chapter 16, Prit Manjali of Garud Puran. The wise always adopt means for the preservation of the body. Even though afflicted with disease such as leprosy and others, it is not something to be given up. It should be guarded for the sake of the duty that is given to a person based on karma, based on what God put you. Do what you have to do. And from that body one day, based on the duty coming to an end, based on how the person lives, freedom is coming. If he does not guard himself against harm, who is going to do that? Therefore, that person should look after his own benefit. He who does not take precaution against disease, he is going to pay for that. He is going to answer for that. And he will end up in a place in Narak where there is no medicine, where there is no help. Prem Sabolo Vindravan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. To put that into context, medicine in Hinduism is not a bad thing. We are hearing where Hanuman, we chant verses in Hanuman Jalisa, Bajrang Ban tonight, where Hanuman is the person who goes and brings this herb that saves Lakshman, that saves, in tonight's discourse, you'll hear where we're going. And why? Because the body is gained after much karma, after much birth, transmigrating from one body to another body, based on karma. Eventually, we know this discourse. Eventually, the human form, that perfect form. Imagine, yes, I get a human form, but I don't have a brain. I don't have faculties. I am missing. I have imperfections. And then somebody is born perfect. Then you have to strive to protect that body. So you do what you must. A quarter of our Ved speaks of Ayurvedic, where Devi says in one part, she says, I will take form as the herbs that will guide. People talk about herbs, but when you talk about aspirin, aspirin came from a plant. When you talk about aloes, aloes is a plant. When you talk about moringa or I forgot the local name for it, all these things that bring different things to the table to heal and help the body. Those things in different parts of Garbrand, when they're talking about the nidhanam to overcome different disease, those things are there. And we looked at it as herbs, as a divine medicine, as a divine gift from the unseen Devi, from God, to help maintain the body. So medicine in Hinduism is not a shunting, it is actually a blessing based on our text. Someone further went on to ask me, Pandit, we're seeing in India where there's so much of loss and death and harm, people are reviving people. People are doing blood, even with us in the ashram. I'm waiting for guidance and waiting for a chance to do it, but with all that is happening, we can't encourage crowds. But to do a blood drive. Temples today can't only be about come and do Sunday service and put $1 in the arti. As you're learning, as we're seeing, the idea and the concept of temples has to change. And with the times, things are evolving. So one thing that me and Mommy Baba, I wasn't too well not too long ago, and I had to do a blood transfusion. And talking to the doctor, Dr. Ramner is from Southern Medical, he came up with a wonderful idea that maybe the ashram should do a blood drive. And we have a membership, and the membership is growing. I invite you all to, those of you message me, join up. Why? So at least if we have a pool and people need blood, you could pull from that pool. Those things exist. So does a Hindu subscribe? What is the Hindu perspective on these things? In some religion, and the reason, let me put it in context, in some religion, blood transfusion is not allowed. Artificial respiration, like what we see in ventilators and all these things that are maintaining life, those things are not allowed. The idea of even autopsy, just find out why did a person die, those things are not allowed. In Hinduism, as it's said in Garbrand, we do what we have to do to maintain life within the body. Tonight you will see where Hanuman is going to do that. Tonight not only is he going to maintain, but he's going to retain and retake life within the body. And one of the verses in, and I'm reading now from Bhagavad Gita, that gives you support for that. Chapter 2, verse 22 of Bhagavad Gita. Very common, you all know this verse. As a man shedding worn out garments takes other new ones, takes on new garments, likewise the soul, casting off the worn out bodies, enters into new ones that are new. The Jiv Atma, Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. And what that means is, we do not identify with the body. This is not me. The true self is the energy that powers this structure. And one day this structure goes. In Garbrand he says, old age comes like a tigress. Life goes like water from a broken pot. Disease attacks like a foe. Therefore, one should strive for the best. So long as misery does not come, so long as calamity does not come, so long as sickness does not come, so long as the senses are not decayed, a person should strive to do their best at what? Maintaining life. Maintaining life. Securing the body. So long as the body lasts, so long a person can be pursuing the truth. But, listen to this analogy. The stupid man digs the well when the corner of the house is already on fire. The time of death is not known by those who are virtuous. A man being happy now can be filled with misery around the corner in a moment's notice. Therefore, you do what you have to do. Riches are like a dream. Youth is like a flower. Life is fickle as lightning. Then what is the sense to only holding on to those things? The vaccine, I agree. In everything, in the medicine, I'm not just saying go outside and eat grass. Just as how we have a procedure to say the prayers, sit, the posture, the jab, the intonation, the way to do it, the prescription, the guidance to follow with the same prayers, the volume, the pronunciation. There's a way to say the prayers, and we believe that mantra, we believe yantra, we believe these things assist the person's energy, aura, bring about healing. Yes, I believe prayers can heal a person. Do you believe in that? And likewise, the vaccine, the science of medicine, yes, it has to be done properly. It has to be researched. It has to be made. It has to be formulated. In our text, there is description. I forgot the name of the Samhita. I described it this morning. I'll talk about it tomorrow night, and I'll probably touch on it tomorrow night. Don't worry. There is description of consumption, different infections in the lung. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll find the reading for you. But the concept of medicine is simply this: a tool that is used to maintain the body, maintain life within the body. Some people have been told that if God were me dead, well, it's better a dead Baba. The truth is, it doesn't work like that. That kind of reckless behavior is not subscribed in our text. So I don't know where you're being guided. Many people think that self-harm and self-hurt leads me to God. That form of prayer is tamasic, where you're causing damage to yourself. And likewise, whilst we are fighting this, a person should do what they have to do to safeguard their life. When it comes to those people that don't want to wear the mask, when it comes to those people that I saw prayers as simple as for Hanuman Jayanti. Let's be real. I'm keeping my conversation to the Hindu circle here. What caused the trouble in Uttar Pradesh was all the people that went to Kumbh Mela and took that bath in the Ganga, and that was irresponsible. And look at the trouble those people are going through now. Now it is out of control. Now it's spreading. People went to prayers in Trinidad, and they can't do it out it. So they want to be free. They want to be normal. And according to Gurbrand, it is being stupid. It is being reckless. Is it so bad that you are in a pandemic and you have to do the right thing? You have to be responsible to safeguard your children and your near ones, your dear ones. So we have to sit this close. We can't be responsible and pray 6 feet apart. Now look at what is happening. Numbers are going up in our little country. Numbers are growing up all over the world because people want to congregate. Yes, people want to go back to the normal, but the normal is not here yet. So many people are losing. Tonight, we remember, Hinduism does not shun medicine, but accept safe medicine. You are in charge. You have the right to say yes or no. But our text tells you that you do what you have to do to maintain the body, to resuscitate, to use blood transfusion. There is no problem. because you do what you have to do with what is at your disposal to maintain life. Let's hear what Hanuman Baba does. I wanted to read that little topic to put this into perspective, because we now reach to the point where Hanuman is about to act. The preamble is done. Now Hanuman has put Shiva like a security guard to watch over the bodies. And hearing these words, Shiva says, okay, Hanuman, go to the mountain. I shall preserve all these dead warriors, all these incapacitated individuals here, those that are unconscious. I and all my followers will remain here and safeguard them. Great Shiva, all his attendants, Veerbhadra, Bhairav, Kali herself was there. And they stand guard. As Hanumanji goes for Drona, and with great strength he finds that mountain quickly. But when he goes to lift the mountain, all the devatas that are living on that spot, they start to throw weapons at him. None of them harm him, but they irritate him. They run quickly to Indra to tell that some great demon is trying to usurp the mountain. On this mountain has great amount of herbs, medicine, and this personality is growing and expanding. His tail has wrapped around the mountain and he's about to steal it. He orders them, Indra says, by all force, let loose all your weapons and stop that goblin from taking that mountain. Do not allow none of them to get the herbs. All of them attack with full force. And Hanuman Baba absorbs the attack. And he takes his mukdar in his hands and he smites them, he hits them, he beats them, calling out the name of Ram. Do not march against me, O you stupid ones. I will send you to the house of Yamraj. Don't you know who lives in my heart? And they still attack with lances, with hatchets, with swords, with spears, with all types of weapons. And some fled back to Indra to tell how much anguish and pain they are experiencing because of this personality. And Indra goes to his guru, the guardian, the counselor of all the devatas, Brihaspati. He says, oh Guruji, the Drona mountain, Drona Parvat is being usurped by a Vanar. Tell us what to do. Brihaspati says, don't you know the mistake you are making? That is the servant of Ram. He who fought Ravan in battle. He who burns the city of Lanka. He is known as Hanuman. You know him. With the piece of sari of Sita Devi around his tail, he had burnt the city of Lanka with the Trikut mountain. He destroys anybody that attacks the devotee of Ram. Best among mighty, Ramraj had performed Ashwamedha Yagna. Raja Virmani has interfered with that horse, the devotee of Shiva, and a great battle has come there. And Shiva destroyed many heroes on the side of Ram. To revive them now, he has come for that Drona Parvat. And after fighting for many years, after attacking him, he is not going to be vanquished by you. Therefore, go and humble yourself and give him what he wants. Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Let's do one verse, as time is running out. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam. 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 Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. Jaya Samba Sadashiva Tava Sharanam. Brihaspati Uvacha Ye Vanar Hanumanta Mahavira Ye Mahabhaktaye Dronapat Ye Ramayan Rama Bhaktyate Grihaye Har Ye Ati Jai Bhole Baba Tav Sharanam 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 Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tav Sharanam Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tava Sharanam Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tava Sharanam. All the devatas together with Brihaspati, humble now. They come to bow to the Vanar, to the monkey that is getting ready to take the hill. Prabhu, emissary, devotee of Ram, we bow to you. Humbly now. Hanuman, hearing the name of Ram, he begins to roar to the heaven. They do not know your valor. Sajivani, they do not know your power. Sheshnag says, Hanumanji is speaking to all of them. In the battle with Raja Viramani, Shiva has destroyed many warriors. To bring them back, I have come to the Drona Parvat, knowing that great amount of herbs, different type of healing elements, different type of mystical strength live here. But because of their valor and their power, the devatas have obstructed me. And if they continue to do this, O Brihaspati, they will be sent to the house of Yamraj. Therefore, either give me the mountain or give me the herb, so that I can go and revive those heroes. Listening to the words of the son of the wind, Brihaspati himself says, take the mountain, take the herbs. And the gods themselves, the devatas that are there, they celebrate him as they saw him take off with all the medicine that he needed. Hanumanji goes back, and all the remaining soldiers celebrate him. They chant Jai Jaikar, Jai Hanuman, Jai Rama Bhakt, Rama Dhoot, Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai. With joy, he goes by each one of them, and he's resting the herbs in their mouth, on their body, and he's saying his prayer, blowing on their body. And by the power of Ram, he is bringing back life into their body. So for the people that think doing CPR, using the ventilator to maintain the life, what does Hanuman represent but a divine ventilator? The divine resuscitator is our Hanuman. The person who can bring back a person from the depths of darkness is our Hanuman. When you think your family is going apart, he is the person who can bring back healing. When you feel your business, when you feel you are in the depths of loss and financial ruin, he is the person that could bring back loss and death. If we only have that faith. What does Lord Shiva respect in him? When the trouble, when the enemy is stacked against him, when the imminent danger is coming, even then he held on to his faith of Shri Ram. Saying so, he put the medicine on the chest of Pushkal, and he put the head and the headless body together, and he calls on Ram, if I recognize only Raghav, that Ram, may this medicine revive this child today. And in so doing, as he's calling on the power of Ram, Pushkal, as if a breath came back into his body, but it was as if he was asleep now, because he wakes up with the roar. He comes back as if he had just closed his eye, and he got up now revived with rage. He is still fighting Virabhadra, and he's looking to fight him. Where is him? yelling and squealing, scrambling for all the weapons. Hanuman has to hold him. Revived, but as if the soul had now jumped out of his body. He says, oh, young one, why? What are you looking for? What? He says, where's my bow? And where's Virabhadra? Where's Virabhadra? I know he attacked me. He says, Virabhadra killed you. And by the grace of Raghunath, I just revived your unconscious body. Calm down. Pushkal uses that moment to cry. And in his mind, he remembers his uncle. So powerful that Ram is not here, but his power is protecting me. Hanuman is smiling and tears are running from his eyes to see the power of his Lord. Now he goes to the body of Shatrughan, totally afflicted by the arrows of Shiva, but breath is still within his body. Breathing, listen, breathing very belabored. Hard to breathe, suffering. For those people in Varanasi, Kashi and other places, those people in Hardwar that are suffering. When the breath couldn't come, Hanuman was the one who rested that medicine on his chest and made his breathing easier. O best Shatrughan, be free of this pain, be revived by the might and the valor of Sri Ram. Why are you lying on this battlefield? So long as I am diligent in my celibacy, let this Shatrughan be revived. No sooner had he said these words, Shatrughan gets up. And where is Shiva? Where has he left this battlefield and gone? As if he had now fallen. He is still in the trappings of this battle. And we hear about this when we have to do Shraddha, when somebody's life is cut short. Now in Hinduism, we don't talk about untimely death, but in the Western world, we refer to untimely death. In Hinduism, in Sanatana Dharma, we believe a person has a start and a stop date. But in normal living, we might feel a younger person dying. This is not fitting. This is not the time. So special Shraddha is done to help that soul, to guide that soul to move on, to move forward because of these type of proof. Where the soul is still holding on, I want to go back, I did not finish this, I did not finish that, I did not get to complete this is so unfair. And the prayer is wishing that he's guided to go on. Hanuman holds him and he says, no brother, no brother, no brother, no. That time has passed. Calm your mind, release that anger, come on. You were left here by Mahadev's wrath. And I just brought you back by the blessing of your brother. Shatrughan gets up, looking at all his forces now revived. What was the decision? To continue fighting. He drags out the Vrajastra, an arrow that has the power of lightning. And the battle began. Brahmastra, Moha Astra, that confused all the warriors on the side of Hanuman. Shiva becomes very angry to see that Shatrughan is again fighting. Made his bow ready and shot at Shatrughan. Listening to the words and the hollering of Hanuman, remember your brother. Shatrughan remembers who in that moment when the arrows are in his body and again he's bleeding. Mahadev is, you cannot conquer him. Hanuman is fighting fiercely, all of them. Shatrughan is the one who says, "Oh Lord, oh brother, this very fierce Rudra is snatching away my life. Raise your bow to protect me now. I come on this field to do your bidding. This body is here to serve you, O Ram. But save me now, O Ram. O Ram, O cloud of kindness, O darkened brother of mine. You are Kripa Raj, the Rajan of mercy. Lift me out of this pain now." And in that moment, calling on Prabhu in that way, Shiva, causing all this Leela. What does Mahadev want? Mahadev wants to see Sri Ram. He wants to see the power of the Lord. And he waited. He stood there. And he saw, standing next to Shatrughan, Raja Ram, with his darkened complexion, simple dress, bareback with the janeau only on his chest, entered the battlefield. And Shatrughan was in full amazement to see the form, to see the power of Ramchandra. Hanuman drops the mace to his knees and he says, "Oh Lord, it is proper for you to come to your devotee today. By your grace, that devotee is freed from all the vanquishers and all the nooses that are tied around our necks. O descendant of Raghu, O Raghukul, we are now blessed to see your feet. And only in a moment we will destroy the enemy." Shiva, seeing Ramchandra, drops to his knees and he says, "You are the Purusha. You are the Prakriti. You are the energy of this universe. You are formless. You are formed." And he starts to pray to him. He says, "What are you doing with this Yagna, with this Ashwamedha Yagna, with this horse Yagna? What sin could befall you? What are you doing all of this for? By destroying Ravan, sin could come to you, O Vishnu. Your feet are the source of the Ganga that removes the sin. And for that reason, I wear that Ganga in my head, in my hair, to remove my sin. O kind one, O loving one, forgive me who have obstructed your will and your work. I only came here for the protection of my devotee. Listen. Raja Virmani in previous time did worship at the bank of the Shipra river, at the Mahakal Jyotirling in Ujjain. And when he pleased me, this is what he asked for. That I, when I am ruling in that city of Devpur, may you diligently dwell there. And I blessed him that I would stay there so long. But one day when the horse of Sri Ram will come, that day I am going to leave, I am going to give up. O Ram, because of this boon I had protected my servant, but now I seek your protection. The horse, the sons, everything of here belongs to you. Nothing belongs to us. Hearing the words of Ishwar, Sri Ram became very happy. He says, "Oh Ishwar," listen to this everybody. "Oh Ishwar, it is the duty of the divine to protect the devotee. For this reason I had put Hanuman here. Hanuman, who is your own form. He is the one who brings health and my energy. He is the one who brings my power and my blessing to my devotee. What you have done here by protecting your devotee is not wrong. You are in my heart and I am in yours. There is no distinction between us. Only a wicked person sees difference between you and I. This Leela that is playing on this battlefield, you and I are one. There's no separate. You and Hanuman is one. Hanuman is in me and I am in him. A person who does not understand this is truly a fool and burns in the Kumbhika Pak part, a different part of Nark hell. Those who are your devotees, those who are my devotees, they are one and the same. Shishnag says, Shiva revived the unconscious Virmani. Touching all of them on that side, they all came back. But with the guidance of Sri Mahadev Baba, he tells all of them to bow to the feet of Sri Ram. To get his blessing is difficult, and to gain the happiness of Sadashiva by gaining the blessing of Sri Ram is so easy. Sri Ram blessed Satrahan. He praises Hanuman that whosoever should worship you will always have the herb, will always get the medicine, will always get the blessing, the healing powers, the gems that I as Ram scatter for my devotee. The protection that my devotee needs will always be instituted by you, O Chiranjeevi. You will always live upon this earth. He praised those on that side, he praised those on his own side. And going back on that chariot, he disappeared. When Sri Ram disappeared, all were amazed. Shatrahan was crying. And he says, do not look at my brother as a mere human, but blessed is the person that could understand the divinity of Ramchandra. He says, O Hanuman, the person who listens to the valor of you will always have the blessing of my brother. Sadashiva says, O Hanuman, please listen. The person who recounts this discourse, that individual who could listen to your story of how you fought me in the protection of the devotee, that you would raise up even in sight of myself to protect the person that needs protecting, that person who calls on you for protection, know that my protection will always be there. The protection of all will be there for that person if they only but call upon you. Blessed is the heirs, blessed is the body, blessed is the person. Bless them with healing, bless them with help, bless them with protection. O Chiranjeevi, O Sajivani, go and carry healing powers to those people that need protection, those that need the medicine. Make it become, may the air that they need to breathe even. Hanuman Baba, O son of the wind, just as in Anand Ramayana, when he is the one who causes the air to revitalize all those forms of life, as the air is being sucked out of people throughout this world, by the power of Hanuman, the son of the wind, let that air reach back to people. In our karma, maybe we have to go through this as Kali Yuga, but by his protection, by his grace, by his blessing, let it guide our decision making. Please be responsible. Please be mindful. Bless those doctors and nurses and caregivers. Bless those suppliers of things like oxygen and cylinders. Bless all those other countries that are lending, different religions, different people. I'm seeing Pakistan is helping Hindustan. God bless them for the work that they are doing. For those people that are in less known countries but are suffering, God bless you. Hanuman is throughout this world. If we would just go to him. Mahadev Baba, for those excellent men, Mahadev Baba says to Hanuman, for those excellent men that listen to this discourse of Ram Raj, Hanuman, never let them have misery. In this existence, where man becomes lost in doing duty, in getting distracted by moha and maya, never let them have misery. The person who listens to this moment where Ram appears to save his devotee. You are a tool, Hanumanji, a worker, a dasi of Sri Ram, and you would have it no other way. Tonight, Pavana Putra Hanuman ki jai. Tonight, as we are nearing the end of our discourse, our time together, this particular discourse is an excerpt, a section of Padma Puran, Patal Khan, chapter 39, book 5, chapter 39 on to 46. We read at the beginning from the Yatra Khan of, no, not Yatra Khan, Sara Khan of Anand Ramayana, chapter 13, and we read from chapter 16, Gard Puran, Prit Manjali, and chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. To describe, so in conclusion, Hanumanji is this force because of the blessings at birth. His father is the heir. His father is the one who is in control of the vital energy, and because of the hurt that was hit against Hanuman, the one with the cleft palate, he holds back that air. Life starts to suffer. And it seems as if that is happening now. People are breathless. People are stifling. Who brings back the breath? When Brahma goes and he says, please release the air. Please allow everybody to breathe, respire. I will bless your son. He gives him 5 blessings. He gives the son of Anjani these Vardhan that he will always help Lord Vishnu. He will always serve Lord Vishnu, be devoted to him. He will always have the adamantium, Vraj type, thunderbolt strength, impervious to weapons. And there are many examples where Hanumanji has faced different type of adversary, different type of enemies on behalf of the devotee. Tonight, as I conclude, yes, this is different. Maybe for some of us, this is the first time you're hearing it. But there are many discourses like this. The Panchmukh Hanuman form, the Ek Dasmukh Hanuman form, Saptamukh Hanuman form, all these are different forms, but they are not kept in Valmiki Ramayana or Tulsidas Ramayana or Jwala Prasad Ramayana. But we still do Panchmukh Hanuman form, Puja, and very commonly in Trinidad. So there's more for us to learn. Pretty vast Ramayana, I believe it's evident. Tonight we are growing our knowledge of Hanuman Baba, and the purpose is to just touch on topics that are relevant to you and I right now. That things might appear dark, things might appear bleak, but be like your Hanuman. If you really believe in him, be like your Hanuman. Stand fast and stand firm in your moments of despair and heartache and pain, loss. Beg for help. Don't give up. Be responsible. Be guided by Gard Puran. Don't reject medicine. Don't reject resuscitation, maintenance of the ventilator. But realize that these equipments are limited. So we have to be responsible. Gard Puran says the wise value the body. The wise know how short this life is. And you do what you can do to preserve life. Devotees tonight, as you grow, as you ponder, I'm speaking tonight directly to you in your homes. Please let us do what we can. Please have patience. Please pray for better sense to prevail. There might be liberties that are being taken. I am not arguing with that. But fighting for liberties and having to put coffins in the ground or in the fire is not the same. We could fix laws after. Let's just make sure our children and elders and loved ones, you and I, are safe. There has to be a priority. It has to be. We need to do our part to preserve life. Otherwise, very quickly, very easily, we are going to lose one another. And when it starts to spread, there will be no stopping it. Tonight, as I conclude my first night, I hope you enjoyed it. Forgive me if you see the little tears. You know how I stop. I enjoy reading my discourses. I believe in my God. And I pray and wish that you do too. Don't just sing that Chalisa because it sounds nice or it's a cool thing to do. Read the meaning and talk to him. Tonight we touched on 2 verses of the Bajrang Bag, where we are celebrating Hanuman. Om Hanu Hanu Hanumanta Hetili, because he brought the herb, he brought the healing that saved Lakshman. Tonight you have heard where he brought the mountain, a different mountain. He brought the mountain to save Shatrughan's life. He is the preserver. He is the one who executes the will of Ramchandra. I hope you enjoyed this discourse. And I pray that you all share this satsang. Please share it. Many people need it. All over this world, people are losing hope. We can't come together to do yagna. Believe me, I miss blowing that song and smelling the smoke and hearing the drum. But we can't do it as normal. I can't invite Romeo, my drummer, and tell him, come sit down, boy. Come sit down and play drum for Pandit. And when Romeo and other people have sickness in their house, I'll just come and do a funeral. What kind of leader am I? We as Pandits, and I beg my Pandits to please lead by example. We need to show people what's right. Please, you see it on Facebook. People are saying one thing and they're doing something else. There are many people that do not have symptoms of this virus. So when you think, okay, we did the temperature check, there's no click, there's no alarm, there's no trouble. Please don't be so naive. We've passed that. We're at a point where we have to put on 2 and 3 masks because of the infection rate being so high for the variants. It's different. In Trinidad, there are so many issues that you can argue about. But tonight, look at the compassion of Hanuman. That even when he was fighting Shiva, he did not think about himself. You and I might have said, please give me that, the other, this, that, and I want this and I want that. He says, Raghunath has given me everything I need. Please safeguard those that are sick, safeguard those that are dying, and give me the help to bring them back. That is what Hanuman represents. That love, that sympathy, that empathy, that your heart must feel what other people are feeling. And if you feel the pain that other people are feeling, then why would you endanger your own like that? There are news reports where you're seeing people bawling because of the death. Then can we squander life and think, okay, that's it. It's normal, it's fine. Hinduism does not support suicide. Suicide is you're throwing away life. What do you call this? This form of irresponsibility that some people are practicing. I award and I applaud those people that are doing the right thing. Keep it up. Children, please encourage the elders. They don't know better. They're not accustomed. Who is accustomed with this? Really? Sanitize, wash your hand, wear your mask, do what you must. Nowhere in our battle. Hanuman is the great Hanuman, but he always walked with the Mukdar. He always walked with his weapon. Hanuman Ji is the person, he never left Ram home. He says, Ram lives right here. I will conquer all. He never left home without his prayers. And during this time, this is the time we need to turn to pray. For that reason, if you need help, I am leaving my number, my WhatsApp number. I am begging you, reach out. Send me a message. Whether it is mantra, guidance, patra, whatever. Pandit Keshava is here. You need help, I'm here. Message. Please share this satsang, everybody. If you're watching it on the repeat on YouTube, please subscribe to my station and share it. There are people that need to hear this message. Tonight, I thank you. I apologize for going over. Let me stop. I hope you really enjoyed this satsang. I'm glad. And I look forward to your feedback. Please leave me a message. I don't care who you are. Please leave me a message. And tomorrow night we will continue. Somebody is saying don't do 3 nights. Do 5 days. If you feel so, send me a message. How many nights to do? Because Hanuman has discourses. And there are many, many discourses of Hanuman Baba that we have never even touched on by virtue of what you've heard tonight. Did you learn something? Is this the first time you've heard it? You've heard this? Send me a message. Send me something. Talk to me. Come on, we need to talk. God bless you. God bless your family. For those of you that are fighting, fight. Fight with Hanuman. Fight. Put your feet in front. Don't give up. Those of you that are going through worries, you don't know what will happen tomorrow. And for all leaders, please, please, you are causing so much worries for the people. Please be our leader. Please, I beg, I'm making a clarion call. Please, for those powers that be, please make some amendment. Ministers, please, on behalf of your people, please. These banks are too draconian. We need some compassion. Please, we have no job. We have no money. People are going to be worried. People are going to be afraid. How are they going to pay the bills? Please, address this. Let's all say final mantra as I'm concluding tonight. And please continue to share and leave me a message. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Om Shanti 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 Hari Om प्रेम से बोलो पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, श्री आदि शक्ति माता की जय, श्री रामचंद्र की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय, जय जय Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Till tomorrow night. From me and Mommy Baba. God bless you. Be safe. Sitaram. Be viewing tomorrow.